So very recently, actually, the following day of the launch, the premiere of Captain America: Brave New World, me and my wife went to go see that movie, and I just gotta say it, just to keep it short, I thought the movie was just fine. It's a good popcorn flick, but it's not a great movie if you understand where I'm coming from. Like, the movie's just okay. I feel like there's a lot of plots that were shoved into this film, and pretty much it was all put together, and the movie is kind of a mess in that way, but it's entertaining. Like, the pacing's kind of quick, but it's also a little bit messy at the same time. And I won't get into plot details or spoil or anything like that, but if you wanted to, let's say, maybe pass this movie, like just skip it, that's perfectly fine, because I feel like whatever has happened in this movie wasn't extremely impactful. And this is in the trailer, with the exception of like the reveal of adamantium. Basically what every country in the film and all the characters are trying to source from the celestial that's coming out of the earth. And that's pretty much it. And the reason being that adamantium is so important for the Marvel Cinematic Universe is because, well, adamantium leads to the, inevitable Project X, which also involves a very popular character with claws. But anyway, we saw the movie and we thought it was just fine. I don't think it was a phenomenal experience. I don't think it was great, but it also wasn't by all means a bad film either. And I posted my review of the film on TikTok, and it's like a 5-minute review, so if you want to watch it, my TikTok is in the description box below. But overall, I liked the film. Like, I didn't hate it. I thought it was just fine. I don't think I'd watch it again, honestly. And a lot of the way I feel about this movie is that I feel like it's a spiritual successor to The Incredible Hulk, and you'll know exactly why when you go see this movie. But overall, the movie's just fine. It's not great, but it's not horrible either, like some of the reviewers or some of these content creators are making out this movie to be, and they're calling it a disaster. But nonetheless, reviews and numbers do not lie. They never do. I think they just can't lie. It's not possible. No matter how much you want to deny it, numbers never lie. And this shouldn't be a surprise either, because Captain America's 4's Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic scores are lower than Chris Evans' movies. Now, say what you want about Rotten Tomatoes. I think personally it's a terrible avenue to go to look at movie critics and movie reviews and stuff like that, because Rotten Tomatoes is a shill of a corporation. Also, they tend to block anybody who disagrees with what they have to say. They tend to remove comments, they tend to manipulate comments, and it's just a terrible platform overall. I think it's garbage, honestly. Captain America's 4 Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic scores are currently lower than the Chris Evans Captain America movies. Now, I'm not surprised here, but one thing that never surprises me is how a lot of the commentators come out of the woodwork and say, well, it's no surprise that this movie is failing because Captain America is black. I hate it when people play the ridiculous race card. It really, really pisses me off when people do that. It's like you jump the gun, you take no comments or critiques into consideration whatsoever, and you completely ignore it, and you assume everyone that doesn't like something is because the main character is of a different race, religion, or creed, or whatever. You assume and you accuse everybody of being racist because a movie did really bad. And that really boils my blood. I favor the Chris Evans movies over this one, not because Captain America in this movie is black. No, it has nothing to do with it. When you have a movie that's not written as well, that doesn't look as good, and that's kind of messy, no matter who's in the lead, people are going to critique it and they're going to say, yeah, this movie sucks. It doesn't matter who's in the lead. It doesn't matter if there's a woman in the lead. It doesn't matter if there's a black man in the lead. It doesn't matter if there's a white guy in the lead. And if you want a movie that's not good, that features a white guy in the lead, look at Ant-Man Quantumania. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania did poorly in the box office. It failed to break even. And that movie features 2 white leads in the movie with a black villain. So how come people don't cry racist when a movie with a white lead fails, but then when a movie with a black lead fails, people just cry racist? You see how that works? That's ridiculous. The Marvels, another box office bomb. It features 1 white lead, 1 black lead, and 1 lead of Pakistan descent. That movie failed, and they're all women. What, you're gonna cry out misogyny? You're going to cry out racist? Well, remember, there's a white lead in it. You see my point? It just doesn't make any goddamn sense. Anyway, let's read the article here. Captain America 4's Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic scores are currently lower than any of the Chris Evans movies. The reviews embargo for Marvel's Captain America 4, also known as Captain America Brave New World, has now lifted. At the time of the article's publication, the film has a 48% score on Rotten Tomatoes with 66 reviews and a 45% score on Metacritic. And in comparison, 2011's Captain America the First Avenger has an 80% Rotten Tomatoes score and 66 on Metacritic, while Captain America 2014's The Winter Soldier has 90% on Rotten Tomatoes and 70 on Metacritic. The Captain America Civil War has a 90% Rotten Tomatoes score, while its Metacritic score sits at 75. Anthony Mackie returns as a high-flying hero, Sam Wilson, who's officially taken up the mantle of Captain America. The synopsis for the movie reads, after meeting with the newly elected U.S. President Thaddeus Ross, Sam finds himself in the middle of an international incident. He must discover the reason behind a nefarious global plot before the true mastermind has the entire world seeing red. What are the critics saying about Captain America 4? IndieWire's David Ehrlich said that the movie is far too preoccupied with its own MCU past to deliver any real excitement in the present. Yeah, I said that this movie's cluttered up and it feels like a lot of plots have been like mended or like, welded into one. And it's like really like it's kind of messy. This is exactly how I needed to phrase it. It is preoccupied with a lot of things that happened in the past, and the movie just feels too busy with a lot going on here and there in every corner of the film. That's what I think is the issue, and that's why I think this movie is not the greatest movie, and it's also the least, like the worst Captain America out of all 4 Captain America films now. But it has nothing to do with the lead being black, because it doesn't even matter. It's like, moving on. Let alone have any real hope of stoking enthusiasm for the future. He also said the movie is full of baffling decisions. None of them are more bizarre or fundamental than the decision to reboot the Avengers by returning to the 2008 boondoggle, where Marvel tried to boot them up in the first place, only to repeat so many of the same mistakes on a much larger scale. The Rap's William Bibiani called Captain America 4 shamelessly pointless motion picture, one that stumbles into powerful symbolism but use those symbols to say as little as possible. And I feel like the movie does play it safe, because if you remember the Falcon and the Winter Soldier at the very end, there was that stupid cringy ass speech that Sam Wilson gave, and talking about how like they need to do better. It was like a very woke moment, I guess, from that time. Verity's own, but like here they play it safe. There's no wokeness in this movie whatsoever. It's completely safe. None of that is addressed. Like nobody is victim blaming anybody. Nobody feels like a victim in this movie. It's just pure, like I said, it's stupid entertainment and it's stupid fun and it's stupid action. And that's what this movie is. Verity's Owen Gleiberman was more positive about the movie, saying that it works well enough as a vigorous, prosaic, more standalone than not adventure that balances shield-bashing, sky-zipping action with the elements of gritty geopolitical thriller. Marvel Studios' Captain America Brave New World releases in the United States theaters February 14, 2025 as part of Phase 5 of the MCU. And there you have it. And of course, you go to some of the comment section in this article here, you get people making that accusation I was talking about earlier, how people think that this movie is failing because the lead is black. So, of course, this is a good person saying like, he's going to go see it no matter what the reviews say. I saw the movie and I didn't care about the reviews, and I formed my own opinion, and you already heard what my opinion was at the beginning of the movie. But this individual says, incels don't like the black Captain America movie? Big surprise. Stop pretending that Rotten Tomatoes is a legitimate movie critique website. It's not. Instead of just a way of internet trolls to try to sabotage a film that don't feature white male leads. Oh no, movie didn't do well. It must be the bigots. I love this response. It's the perfect one. People like this individual right here, like automatically jumping the gun without doing any research or finding out as to why such a movie that he likes failed, are ridiculous. Like they're idiots. They're morons. Instead of just like taking the time to research as to why a movie failed, you just form your own narrative and say, yep, it's got to be the bigots. It's got to be the racists. And this movie doesn't have bad writing whatsoever. It's not a cluttered mess or anything like that. Yeah, it's racist. That's the answer right there. Racists. But anyway, that's pretty much it. What are your thoughts? If you have seen Captain America Brave New World, let me know. And if you haven't, let me know if you're going to go see it or not. But honestly, if you are looking for a good time, then yeah, I would suggest go see this movie, because it is a fun time, and it's a stupid fun time. You don't have to see the movie if you don't want to. It's perfectly fine. You're not really missing anything huge if you miss out on watching this movie. But if you want to save your money and watch it on Disney Plus, that's perfectly fine as well. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got for you today. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click on the bell notifications so you all don't miss anything. Dislike the video if you did. And as always, I will see you all in the next comic panel.